Hello and welcome to the first ever Shapeless Q&A. Tyler is out sick this week with the flu and strep throat, so we couldn't record a Skyrim episode, but we didn't want to leave the channel entirely barren for an entire week, so we put out a call for questions, you guys submitted them, and now I'm going to answer them. So let's get right into it. Question 1 comes in from Mucus Looney, who asks, why did my wife leave me? Question number 2 comes in from Machiavelli the Dawn, and they ask, where are you from? What else do you do when you're not doing YouTube? Penis size? So let's start with the first one. Where are we from? We are from Minnesota. Me and Tyler are both from Minnesota, kind of in the Twin Cities, St. Paul, Minneapolis area. And Tay is from Wisconsin, so no one gives a shit. So what else do you do when you're not doing YouTube? When we're not doing YouTube, well, myself, Tyler, and Tay all have full-time jobs, so that takes up the bulk of our time, I would say. And I also don't have any cool I don't have hobbies in the way some people are like, yeah, I whittle bows and arrows. I don't do that. My hobbies are more like, I like to go and see movies in the theater. I like to go see what's new with the craft brewing scene in St. Paul and Minneapolis. I like to stay in and binge watch Game of Thrones for the 9th time. I like to really dig into a good game or something like that. So my hobbies outside of doing my full-time job and then doing Shapeless stuff, which does actually take up a lot of time, even though we're just doing the one episode of Skyrim a week currently and Baseless Claims and everything. It's not an insignificant amount of time that I dedicate to it. So, and I love it too. I absolutely love going in and looking at the analytics and seeing oh, this video is doing well. Why is it doing well? Why are our numbers going up here? That's a lot of fun. But it's also a great outlet for me to work on stuff like, designing. It's also good conversationally. I'm getting better and more comfortable with conversations and just how to interact with people because now I'm forced to watch myself on camera constantly fucking up and saying stupid things and getting trailed off and lost in sentences and the way my tone shifts and everything. So it's really interesting for me to watch back and be able to kind of see that stuff as I'm going through. So Shapeless is a huge part of it, but that is absolutely not what the question had. What else do you do besides YouTube? Yeah, movies, craft beer, TV shows, games, hanging out with friends. That's what I like. As for Tyler and Tay, they don't do anything. They just sit and wait for me to call them. Penis size. Penis size. Okay, I'm gonna go. Well, I'm the one editing this, so I'm just gonna go solid 10.5 for me. Very girthy. Tyler, I'm gonna give him a solid 5.5, like the American standard there. Tay's 3, but Tay has big balls, huge balls. Next question. Marcus Stafford asks, how did you and Tyler meet? How did me and Tyler meet? We met in middle school, actually. So we met through a mutual friend, Lucas. At first, me and Tyler were not great friends. I think looking back on it, I was kind of like, you go to middle school, there's all these new people that your friends are meeting. And I was like, no, you can't be friends with them. You're my friend. I feel like I was kind of getting a little bit like that. So I would just kind of mock Tyler. And I don't know, middle school Tory was a nightmare. But we ended up just hanging out as in group situations more often. And then eventually we just started hanging out ourselves. We ended up playing on the same baseball team for a few years, and that was really fun. And so yeah, we just kind of came closer and closer through that meeting of the mutual friend, and we became friends all our own. And then we decided that let's put a camera on us and start making game videos. Lord Eris asks, oh boy, it's a long one. Lord Eris asks, if you and Tyler had a choice to be any race in Tamriel, current TES 5 time period, who would you guys be, and where and why? What Aedra or Daedra would you worship, and what would you guys do in said alternate universe? Just typical guys, not Dragonborn or Nerevarine, etc. Any favored factions y'all would join within the confines of your race and homeland? What would be your end goal in Tamriel before you either ascend to your chosen god's Oblivion realm or end up in a soul gem? Bonus, what would your favored race be to have relations with? So this is a big one, and this is one I absolutely am not going to just take Tyler's word for. So I did have Tyler send me an answer for this since he can't be here. He's busy nursing himself like a little bitch. So Tyler says, if I had the choice, I would be a Breton located in the southeast portion of Skyrim, near Riften. Not directly in the city, but somewhere nearby. The well nearby my home/shop would be connected by secret tunnels to the Ratway, and this would be important later. To me, that's the ideal location because proximity to the throat of the world for my intense full-body workouts to keep at 175 and my preferred landscape of mix of mountains, forests, and lakes. I would be a follower of Akatosh simply because he's a cool time god/dragon who just repairs time rifts and is seemingly good. As far as profession, I would be some kind of jeweler or outfitter, creating or repairing people's fine wares and jewelry. This would all be a front because I'd be a part of the Thieves Guild, and for particularly valuable pieces, I would take them for repairs, but really create a fake and sell the truly valuable piece to the thieves. My end goal is one big heist/conspiracy alongside the Dark Brotherhood where I kill a ruler by putting an undetectable poison in their jewelry, creating a power vacuum in which the alternate faction takes over. But it's all done very quietly, so no one is the wiser. But within the walls of the inns and spoken in hushed voices, it's the greatest conspiracy ever. Bonus for which race he would like to have sex with, Khajiit. Now, Tyler did a lot of world building on that one. My answer, man, that's a tough one. So I think what I would like to do, I think I would want to be a wood elf. And I think I'd want to be a wood elf because I've always really liked archery, and whether it's in games or even like, fucking, when we were like 14, me and Tyler just bought a bow and started shooting shit in his backyard with it. So like, I don't know, archery seems really cool. I think I'd want to be in Skyrim. So I would live in a small cottage, maybe somewhere in like the outskirts of the Whiterun region so that it's very centrally located. And I think as far as factions go, I would start off Thieves Guild, but then eventually slip into the Dark Brotherhood because I'm just such a damn good archer. Boom, 1,000 yards, crosswind, draw the bow, boom, right through the throat, done. So that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with Wood Elf, outskirts of Whiterun, and what race would I fuck? All, except Khajiit. Next question. John Landauer, I'm going to say. John Landauer asks, favorite and least favorite thing about living in Minnesota? Okay, let's start with the bad, because that's easier off the top of your head. It's fucking cold here, guys. Minnesota's really fucking cold, and it sucks when you go out and your car is just completely iced over, you got 1.5 feet of snow overnight, and it's negative 10 degrees, but it feels like negative 20 because of wind chill, and that sucks. And that's just, every year I forget how bad it is. I think every Minnesotan likes to act tough to people who aren't from Minnesota. It sucks. It's cold, I'm a freeze baby, can't do it. On the flip side of that, the favorite things about living in Minnesota, we have a lot of like natural beauty here. So like, you know, Minnesota's the land of 10,000 lakes. We have a beautiful North Shore along Lake Superior. There's a lot of beauty. And then the further up north you go, there's stuff like in a couple weeks, I'm going to be going on a ski trip to Lutsen, which is a ski resort up in way north Minnesota. And it's absolutely beautiful there, and you go up to the North Shore to do a video shoot or something like that, and there's just like endless beauty. You really can't go wrong with it because everywhere you look, it's just gorgeous, whether it's like these big cliff sides or the waves on Lake Superior crashing in against the rocks. It's just that we have a lot of natural beauty, and at the same time, like, I know it's kind of whoops. There's a lot of good and bad in Minnesota. It's also, this is where my family is, this is where my friends are, this is where it's comfortable, it's what I know. So I've never lived in another state, so it's kind of hard for me to answer or like compare it to different states or anything like that. But least favorite thing, definitely winter. Favorite thing, I am gonna go with natural beauty. Next question. Megara Clark, Meg, writes in and she asks, are you guys ever going to live stream? I know why you are not interested in it, the lack of control, but I think it would be fun. Also, are there any other games in the works besides Skyrim? Breath of the Wild is one of my favorite series from you guys. Thank you, Meg. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Are you guys ever gonna live stream? Live streaming is probably the most frequent question we get as a channel. The reason that we started Shapeless is because I was in film school and I wanted to have something that was, for one, mine. It may not be cinematic, it may be whatever, but it's mine, and it's something that I can consistently work on so that I'm always editing and I can get better at the workflow and just improve my own abilities. And so that was our big thing against live streaming for a long time, was that I want to be able to control it. I want to be able to cut out if we have stupid jokes or we go way too far on this stupid thing. We say wrong shit all the time, and I go back and correct it. I like having the control of an edit. But we get asked a lot about live streaming, and here's the thing. I don't think live streaming is ever going to be something that we do frequently. I don't think it's going to be, even if it's like a monthly thing. I just don't see live streaming being a big staple in the Shapeless roster. Am I entirely against it though? No. The reasons that we haven't yet are because, one, I don't really watch live streams. So I don't know what's good and what's not. I don't know what people like. I don't really know about the interacting with the live chat. I think it's all interesting, but I don't watch it. I don't actually consume that content. So it's hard for me to try and go, I can do that. Also, I want to have a certain sense of polish to everything we do. I know we're not perfect. I know we don't have the highest production value ever, but I do put effort into making sure that we look good and we're properly exposed, or Tyler does a lot of work to make sure that we sound good and we sound level. If we get asked enough about it, and we find a good game or thing to do live streamed, I'm sure we would do it, especially if there's a really good cause behind it. If we were doing a live stream for charity where we're raising money for a certain cause or something like that, that would make me feel a lot better about not caring as much if it's perfect. There's also a big technical challenge to it. I could probably figure out how to live stream well and how to get it to look the way I want to. But I don't know that we have everything ready and set to go. We use all XLR mics. We're not plugging into USB or something like that. I'm not exactly sure if we could get that into the system. There's all these things technically that I just don't know about, and I don't think Tyler knows, and I don't think Tay knows, and we could probably do the work to figure out how to get it to the level we want. But basically, are we ever gonna live stream? Maybe someday. It's not super high on our list, but it seems to be super high on our viewers list, which means that we should really start thinking about it more often. But I just want to figure out how to do it right. I want to live stream the right thing. I want to figure out how to do it technically to the level that I am going to be happy with. So the next parts of the question, let's see here. Are there any other games in the works besides Skyrim? Breath of the Wild is one of my favorite series from you guys. I just read that again for my ego. Are there any other games in the works from us? There is more content that is in pre-production right now. I don't know at all when it would go live. We stopped doing the Thursday episodes of Shapeless Skyrim because we wanted to have more time to dedicate to other things. But kind of along with the live streaming thing, I want to make sure that if we do it right, we do it good. I don't want our stuff to be, I don't want to just throw it out to throw out something. Oh, look, we have a new thing. I want to have this new thing be really, really good. So, are there other games in the works besides Skyrim? There's not another video game series. There's something in the works, and we're in very early stages of it still. There's been a lot of reasons why we haven't been kind of hitting the ground running on the new stuff as much as we'd like to, and that has to do with me moving. I'm in my own apartment now. I'm no longer living at my dad's house where we had the studio where we had Baseless Claims and all that kind of stuff, and so things have kind of shifted in that way. All of us having full-time jobs, that can make it very difficult. Keeping up on the schedule we currently have, along with just being able to have your own free time to enjoy life and go out and do whatever. Point is, there's a lot of reasons that we haven't been just putting rubber to the pavement on all of the new stuff that we talked about when we did our 1,000 subscriber special. But we do have new stuff in the works, and we are going to make sure that when we release it, it is ready to be released. I'll just put out this goal here because no one's here to stop me. It'll be out in 2020. There we go. Next question. Wolfie Doggy asks, how and why you decided make video. Holy shit, Wolfie Doggy. Let me give this another pass. how and why you decided make videos about Skyrim. Do you have a favorite mod creator? I have 5 favorites. Jeremy Soule was fired from Bethesda. Can you imagine Elder Scrolls without his precious music? I can't. Okay, let me break that down because that's 3 questions. Number 1, how and why did we decide to start making videos about Skyrim? The short answer is we really loved Cam and Seb's show on GameSpot that was called Top 5 Skyrim Mods of the Week, and we looked at that and went, I can do that. Longtime viewers might know that we actually started with Fallout 4, and there is a kind of a weird reason for that. At the time when we started Shapeless back in 2016, Skyrim on PS4 was not out yet, and there wasn't this whole like mods on console thing, and we thought about like, okay, well, what if we just did a playthrough of Skyrim? Well, it turns out you can't capture off of a PS3. They had built-in locks so that you couldn't record stuff like Netflix and Hulu, like you couldn't record the video apps and copyright issues, so you couldn't just plug in a capture card to a PS3 and make it work. So what we did instead was, okay, well, let's just play Fallout 4 because that's on PS4, and that way we can record it. And let's just make a funny video series where we make John Cena and punch our way through the wasteland. And it was really fun to make. Some of the stuff, like, you can see that, like, it's us, it's for sure us. But it was technically very rough because I was still pretty new to editing any type of quality. It was just like everything I had made before was always like, I want to make a fun video with my friends and that kind of stuff. We started with Fallout 4, but we always had the intention, because it was like the first episode of John Cena Diaries that we had made. And then they announced Skyrim on PS4, and it was going to look so much better, and there was going to be mod support and all this kind of stuff, where we were like, okay, well, let's keep making this show until Skyrim comes out, and then we're for sure hitting Skyrim, because that's what we always wanted to do, and now we can do mod showcases even better. So we took our original concept of playing through Skyrim and just melded it with our love of Cam and Seb, and boom, Shapeless Skyrim. And it's evolved over the time, and you can see how in the beginning it was, we're playing through and we're trying to find mods that kind of fit in with the storyline where we're at and stuff like that. And now we're just on to mod showcases because we beat the game, and it's really fun for us to be able to show off the amazing work that people have done. I mean, guys, Skyrim is 9 years old, and seeing the work that people are doing to make sure that we still want to play the game, it is crazy. So it's really fun for us to be able to showcase the amazing work that's going out, even if it's on limited PS4. In fact, it's almost more fun because people have to be really creative to make stuff that stands out. That was long-winded. Next part of the question, do you have a favorite mod creator? I have 5. Okay. Do we have a favorite mod creator? Yeah, well, do I have a favorite? Do I have one that I want to say is like my definitive favorite? No. Do we have a group of them? Absolutely. Like, Yuki is amazing, Scarecrow is amazing, Cyan49 is amazing, Moldy Catskin, RIP, was amazing, like had some really, really great stuff. But I don't want to just say, like, there's obviously mod creators that when they make something, you can kind of go like, oh, I know a level of polish that's going to be at. But on the flip side, it's also really fun to look at new mod creators or look at the work in progress mods or something like that, where it's people who we've never shown a mod from them in over 200 episodes, and we're blown away by this amazing town they've built or this dungeon that they built or something like that. So yeah, there's a ton of really great mod creators out there, and the ones I listed are included in my favorites for sure. I'm sure I'm forgetting some right now, but it's also fun to be able to look at people you don't know. So don't be afraid to look in the work in progress section, guys. And then the third part of the question. Jeremy Soule was fired from Bethesda. Can you imagine an Elder Scrolls without his precious music? Jeremy Soule did not work for Bethesda. Composers are like independent contractors who are brought in to compose the score. They don't work for a company. So Jeremy Soule didn't work for Bethesda. He worked with Bethesda on their previous Elder Scrolls titles. So can I imagine an Elder Scrolls without his music? Not really. Like, that sucks. He's really, really talented, but he's also doing other stuff, and, I don't know if they're looking for a reinvention. The change in music might be one step in we're flipping what Elder Scrolls is. We're not sticking with everything we've done before because we need to really expand what we're doing. So can I imagine without him? Not really, but I'm excited to see what it is like without Jeremy Soule's music, because there is a lot of really talented composers out there. So yeah, I'm sad, but I'm also excited to see what the next person can do. Last question comes in from Gibson Lots. You guys should talk about the origins of band name calling. So, band name calling, that's something we do on the channel way too much probably. We really lean in on that joke. But band name calling originally started with me, Tyler, and Tay, actually's mutual friend Brady. He's a guy that me and Tay went to school with. We went to college with him. And I remember one day we were just like out at some party or some social gathering. I said something weird and he was just like, oh, band name, I call that. Pull out his phone and wrote it down. And I was like, what are you doing there, Brady? Showed me his phone and he's got like 100 band names that he'd called. And he told me that like, yeah, when I'm with my friends, like I'll just call like phrases as band names. And I thought it was the funniest shit in the world. And I looked him dead in the eye and I said, I like that. That's mine now. And now it has become way too big of a part of Shapeless. So that's it. That's the origin of band name calling. And that is the end of the Q&A session. This was actually really fun. It's very weird to do it solo because I'm used to having other people to rely on a little bit. But if you liked this Q&A and you think that we should do more of these, like maybe every couple months or so, let us know. Like, let me know in the comments if you want to see another one of these. Otherwise, I am very sorry that Tyler was sick and that we couldn't get a Skyrim episode out. I will be going out of town next weekend, so I'm not sure what we're going to do because I don't think Tyler's going to be well enough again yet. But I might try and do a little something so that, once again, the channel is not left barren. Let us know what you thought about this, and keep those mod suggestions for Shapeless Skyrim coming in. Check out Baseless Claims. It goes up every other Friday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. I mean, what your favorite podcatcher. Check it out and tell all your friends about Shapeless Media, or I'll kill you.